Remember a time when gaming was fun? I would like to think we all do. But today's gaming isn't what it used to be from when I was a child. I often find myself returning to some of those old gyms, just to revisit that moment of when I was a child. I believe it has a lot to do with nostalgia of it all. And that's what I want to share with you, my thoughts on nostalgia in gaming. World of Warcraft Classic is coming soon, and I am for one eager to revisit that world that we call Warcraft. Along with its release brings in real life factions, and to be honest, there shouldn't be. I guess we should start with the old days, some of the influences I had that helped me shape me into what I am today, my childhood. I remember when my parents brought home a PlayStation 1, and with that, a wheel for the game Driver. I remember staying up late with my dad playing that game with the steering wheel. I have never experienced something like that before, and because of that, it's now become one of my favorite gaming moments. Along with that PlayStation 1 come some of the most mind-blowing experiences I've ever seen, and to me, even nowadays, they still would be the most mind-blowing experiences for me. I think it's because they were my first experiences. It would be late Friday nights, my parents would be playing Resident Evil 2, and I would be so mesmerized by the story and the scenery with the terrible pixel blood patterns that are copied and pasted throughout Raccoon City. Walking into that bar and seeing someone get mauled right before my eyes, it was so gory that my parents would quickly put their hands over my eyes from every time they died, which was pretty often. Though they never seemed to get all of my sight, peeking through in between their fingers, and what I saw would give me nightmares. I'm sure I would laugh now if I were to go back and experience that. It wouldn't be the graphics that made me come back to the game. It would be the experiences I had during that time I was playing that game. The nostalgia of it all. I'm sure we have been a part of the neighborhood Halo LAN party when we were younger with all of our Xboxes and copies of Halo with the big block TVs that you would need a semi just to carry. Staying up late just to capture the flag from your best friends one more time on Blood Gulch. So many broken controllers and empty cans of Mountain Dew. And sometimes the beer out of my dad's fridge when they went to bed. Those were the times. Those were great times. And then came World of Warcraft. I was first introduced into WoW after seeing my brother play Guild Wars 2. Having a level 20 and completely dominating everyone in PvP, I wanted that for myself. So naturally I looked up what's the best class to play. But what I found was not Guild Wars class guides. It was a guy named Leroy Jenkins, one of the most iconic World of Warcraft videos ever known, that I'm sure influenced a lot of people to play. I know it did for me, and ever since that day, everyone began to know what World of Warcraft was, even if they have never played it for themselves, which leads me into my next topic. Gaming. So, what makes gaming fun now? I recently just purchased World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth to try and relive some of those memories I had from Elwyn Forest and Westfall. But it has changed, and it's changed a lot. I can't tell if it's for the better or for the worse from when I last played, which was Wrath of the Lich King. That is close to 10 years ago now. That's a long time in the world of gaming. Many things have changed. For one, queuing up and jumping around major cities with no true sense of questing, mostly just waiting. Sure, the wait wasn't very long, it's for the casual and not the hardcore, and that's noticeable in a big way. Another change being level scaling. I found myself many times in Westfall being level 17 or 19, leveling with people that are level 30s and higher, which at the time I thought was great, but I noticed nobody communicated anymore, just everyone on a track going from point A to point B. I leveled so fast that I completely skipped Red Ridge Mountains and went straight for Darkshire to help defeat the undead. It was great for casually playing. A sense of aggressiveness happened every time I logged on for about 30 minutes or so. But after playing for a while, I often felt like I was playing a completely new game from the one I experienced in my childhood. And that's okay because communities change, and so do the player base. I understand that. Some people might not have time for gathering a party in Stormwind, making the journey out to the dungeon location and spending 2 hours in the dungeon. I remember after every mob trash pull, the whole party sitting around eating and drinking to pull their mana and health back together, and talking about how we're going to accomplish the task at hand. I, for one, enjoy the community aspect of gaming and the socializing with people that you meet in these fantasy worlds. Many friendships and personal achievements came from this. Even if it was in a virtual world, you became known within a community that helps other people out. Mostly the older games relied on the help from the community to get a task done, like RuneScape. Ever waited at a bank to see if you could find odd jobs of people needing help to earn a quick coin? I have. I spent most of my time doing it all the way to level 126. I guess I often look for those nostalgic moments in the games that I play. I say, oh, this game reminds me of the other game I used to play a lot. Not, this game stole ideas from this game I used to play. And I think that's where a lot of people forget why they played the game in the first place. Because it was fun. The community of WoW right now seems to be breaking with this classic WoW coming out. With the whole, you think you do but you don't want that quote.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't. Remember when you had to spam cities and say, need a tank, need a tank, need a tank during the Burning Crusade days? You don't remember that because now you just push a button that says go to the dungeon. You don't want to do that.
What J. Allen Brack just said is false in my eyes. It's exactly what I want. That experience of a community again. I'm not saying that this is better than the other. There doesn't need to be an uprising of people prepared to defend the current state of WoW and its current expansion compared to the vanilla. And for J. Allen Brack to have announced Classic WoW was pure gold for me.
Fans of World of Warcraft around the world, we hear you. I am pleased and also a little bit nervous to announce the development of a classic server option for World of Warcraft.
I guess what I'm trying to get across to people is that wanting to relive your childhood is not wrong. To play in the past for the sole purpose of enjoying those moments with your friends and family that you used to have back then. That to me is worth way more than shoveling money at something that I don't love as much as my childhood gaming. Sharing those experiences with my friends once more shouldn't be a clouded judgment in the way of remembering the games I used to love and play. People are saying that our judgment is wrong on the previous games, whether they're good or bad. Like we're looking through a golden painted window, but I'm not. I just want to simply relive those moments once more. I don't make these videos for the large fan base I have, my whole 55 subscribers. I make them because I hope someone gets as much joy out of them as I got playing them. To escape from reality just a few minutes, like I used to do when I was a child.